Judy note, due to security risks of riots and destruction across the nation and need to arrest 41 Antifa and riot leaders, the 800-S release has been delayed to Tuesday 30th of June. 2 weeks ago Judy Shelton begged China for 10 more days due to security issues within the U.S. Antifa-led riots, murders and destruction. The delay was given. The U.S. had until last night Thursday 25th of June to get Tier 4B started, which didn't happen. Because that deadline wasn't met, the Chinese elders threatened to withdraw the U.S. from ZIM and currency redemption. After tumultuous all-night and next-day discussions, the Chinese, U.S. Treasury, Department of Defense and RV teams finally decided on another RV release schedule. This afternoon, Friday 26th of June, a DoD update confirmed that the new schedule was the final end of this journey, Friday evening 26th of June through Tuesday 30th of June. The 800-S release was slated for next Tuesday 30th of June. As of Friday 26th of June, there were numerous reports of historic bonds being positioned for payout, dong and dinar being no longer available for sale, banks restricting circulation of U.S. dollars and coins of the old fiat system, plus the Mexican and Canadian borders being tightly sealed, all of which were signs of a gold, asset-backed global currency reset that was announced by Trump in a soft announcement tweet last Wednesday 24th of June. A Friday, June 26, 2020 Fleming military intel report notes from Fleming call. There are things I wanted you to understand that were different than normal. There was a lot of saber rattling last night, Thursday 25th of June. I will tell you what happened this morning and how things have now changed. There was a meeting that took place that went all night long with elders, China, and the outcome was that the U.S. would be out of all ZIM transactions. About 2 weeks ago, Judy Shelton was begging for 10 more days. The Chinese said no and threatened to pull all money out of U.S. banks and demand payments over next 90 days. They would have all Chinese nationals leave the U.S. immediately. China was going to pull all money out of U.S. banks, close all accounts, sell all U.S. holdings and properties and demand immediate payment on all payments in next 90 days. China was wiping their hands of the U.S. and would not be doing any business with us. If U.S. wanted anything in future, they must pay for it in cash for all goods and services. This would apply for all countries doing RV as well. The U.S. just got enough trade status by pulling out of their agreement. They also warned that the U.S. would try and prevent currency exchanges, laws be damned. With the U.S. out of all ZIM transactions, the Chinese made offer of 14%. Judy Shelton and Trump turned them down even after getting 10-day extension asked for. They had asked for 10 days, and given 14. Under international law covering currency, once a currency goes international then anyone can exchange it and the U.S. could not stop that. The ZIM was controlled by the Chinese, not the currency. It was a simple buy-sell agreement. China was buying the ZIM, while we were selling the ZIM to them, and they had the choice as to who it would purchase the ZIM from. The Chinese have been in Zimbabwe doing business and were tired of us never getting started. There was no need to be angry or jump off the deep end over this. This afternoon, Friday 26th of June, we got updates from the DoD. Our military intel contact confirmed Mr. Fleming's sources saying that this really was the end of this journey as of today, Friday 26th of June through next Tuesday 30th of June, even though there was a delay last Tuesday to Thursday 23-25 June because of Antifa rioting and degrading monuments and toppling statues in cities over the past several days, beyond the peaceful demonstrations. Everything was now being coordinated for final liquidity release procedures. They did a general review and security audits and other audits last night, Thursday 25th of June, and there was little left to do to get this out. The DoD, Judy Shelton and UST, Chinese elders and the RV teams decided today, Friday 26th of June, to finalize the schedule of exchange start and full liquidity access release to all levels/tiers. It would be released this evening, Friday 26th of June. There was indeed Tier 4A movement yesterday Thursday 25th of June, and Tier 4A SKRs were being paid out, final full access when Tier 4B was started, in preparation for the shotgun release. Though the Chinese were threatening last night Thursday 25th of June overnight to pull the ZIM from Tier 4B redemptions and to create a market implosion in the USA, as of today Friday 26th of June the ZIM was still in the Tier 4B redemption exchange protocols. The Chinese and the USA have agreed on the Tier 4B release next Tuesday 30th of June after liquidity payouts were started for downline liquidity flow this weekend to Monday 29th of June. Everything was positioning for Tier 4B 800 hash and exchanges starting next Tuesday 30th of June and final liquidity to all tiers, all levels from Tuesday 30th of June onward next week. The Chinese were watching everything the US was doing to get this out. They were beyond angry at USA delays due to security arrests. If there were any more American delays, the Chinese would intervene. One of the major reasons Tier 4B was not started today tomorrow Friday to Saturday 27th of June was that there were 41 deep state Antifa, anarchist riot ringleaders across the country that have been carrying out riots, completely different than peaceful demonstrators, looting, violence, and pulling down statues the past several days in cities across the country that DoD security teams have started to arrest and shut down today Friday 26th of June through the weekend to Monday 29th of June. These deep state riot ringleaders were also going to deploy Antifa foot soldiers to disrupt and attack certain redemption centers in major cities when Tier 4B started. Trump wanted to start Tier 4B last Tuesday to Wednesday or Thursday 23-25 June, but DoD advised Trump that he needed to do an executive order authorizing the arrests, in a way that deep state Democrat politicians could not stop, before starting Tier 4B. Trump signed the EO yesterday Thursday 25th of June. In spite of much friction between the Chinese and Americans in the RV meetings yesterday and last night Thursday 25th of June, the top Chinese elders agreed with the USD, Judy Shelton, and Trump that Judy Shelton and USD should finalize the final release schedule with DoD and the Chinese today Friday 26th of June. The top Chinese elders were satisfied that the final RV release started earlier this week with the Level 1, Tier 1 government level funds payouts done last Monday 22nd of June to China and to the other 209 countries to initiate GCR debt relief and universal basic income to citizens of all 209 countries. These payouts from last Monday 22nd of June were part of the overnight audits last night Thursday 25th of June because this audit and review included these final payouts to Tier 1 government accounts globally. Many inside the release process are very excited now that the rest of the liquidity flow and exchanges at our Tier 4B level would come beginning next Tuesday 30th of June. If we get any more updates, we will let you know and would post the link for you. If you don't get an email, especially if you were gifted currency and ZIM, there would be a safe website. Rest this weekend. Prepare for your appointment and keep prayers up that arrests of riot ringleaders was completed by Monday 29th of June so all could start for the US in Tier 4B on Tuesday 30th of June. B. International child sex trafficking. New World Order advocates have not only controlled the global monetary system but in their quest for power and glory, were known to regularly worship Satan. Since its inception the fiat US dollar has been funneled from the privately owned US incorporated GCR and Federal Reserve to Queen Elizabeth's Bank of London, to the Vatican Bank to central banks across the globe. The elite's international child trafficking ring was believed to be part of this same system and run out of the Vatican. Jesse Chibatar, witness to tortured children in underground tunnels beneath major U.S. cities, Timothy CharlesHolmeseth.com web link. Jesse begins at 9 minutes 30 second mark. Zublex guest Jesse Chibatar provided eyewitness testimony to the existence of underground tunnels where children were tortured, raped and forced into cannibalism. President Trump's Pentagon Pedophile Task Force had recently overseen the rescue of thousands of these children by Navy SEALs, Marines and other special military forces. Zublick and Chibatar talked about Timothy Charles Holmeseth, whom they described as very credible, who reports on the children. 3 Vatican priests have gone on record denouncing Pope Francis as a false prophet and claiming that Satan-worshipping pedophile cardinals are engaged in the ritual abuse of children as young as 1 month old inside the Vatican's high walls. Over the past few years, representatives of the Vatican have been accused and caught molesting children, and ties to large pedophilia rings have been discovered. The Vatican has had to spend billions of dollars settling and dealing with pedophilia cases. This is no longer a secret. Unfortunately, what many people still do not know is that many of these children are used in satanic-type rituals. The Vatican claims to be following the Word of God, but multiple insiders have recently come forth, denouncing Pope Francis as a false prophet, and speaking about the widespread practice of black magic and Satanism inside the Vatican. In the view of the public, the Vatican and its many representatives from all over the world represent a force of love and peace, but according to Malachi Martin, an Irish Catholic priest who was professor of paleography at the Vatican's Pontifical Biblical Institute until recently, this vision of love and peace is at odds with what really happens behind the scenes. Jesuit priest Malachi Martin served in Rome for 6 years, where he was a close associate of Cardinal Augustine B. and the Pope. According to Malachi Martin, an enthronement ceremony was held by Satan-worshipping pedophile Vatican cardinals in 1963, and the smoke of Satan has been irremovable in the Vatican since then. Most frighteningly for Pope John Paul II, he had come up against the irremovable presence of a malign strength in his own Vatican and in certain bishops' chanceries. It was what knowledgeable churchmen called the superforce. Rumors, always difficult to verify, tied its installation to the beginning of Pope Paul VI's reign in 1963. Indeed, Paul had alluded somberly to the smoke of Satan which has entered the sanctuary. An oblique reference to an enthronement ceremony by Satanists in the Vatican. Besides, the incidence of satanic pedophilia, rites and practices, was already documented among certain bishops and priests as widely dispersed as Turin, in Italy, and South Carolina, in the United States. The cultic acts of satanic pedophilia are considered by professionals to be the culmination of the fallen archangel's rites. Written in his book about geopolitics and the Vatican, The Keys of This Blood, page 632. On multiple occasions he spoke about Satanism being the predominant religion practiced inside the Vatican's high walls. But Malachi Martin isn't the only Vatican insider speaking about satanic pedophilia in the Vatican. The list is a long one. The Reverend Gabriele Amorth, an Italian Roman Catholic priest, and an exorcist of the Diocese of Rome, is another example. Reverend Amorth performed tens of thousands of exorcisms for the Church over his half-a-dozen-plus decades as a Catholic priest, and has mentioned a number of times how Satanism is practiced within the Vatican. He also described how very young girls are kidnapped by a gang of Vatican police and foreign diplomats, explaining that these girls are recruited for Vatican parties, attended by cardinals and priests. Amorth claimed that Emanuela Orlandi, a Vatican City schoolgirl who went missing in Rome in 1983, was kidnapped for sex parties by a gang involving Vatican police and foreign diplomats. He said that the girl was later murdered and her body disposed of. The devil resides in the Vatican and you can see the consequences, said Reverend Amorth. The evil influence of Satan was evident in the highest ranks of the Catholic hierarchy, with cardinals who do not believe in Jesus and bishops who are linked to the demon. Malachi Martin and Reverend Amorth should be commended for their bravery in blowing the whistle on satanic pedophilia within the Vatican, because priests who tell the truth about their corrupted colleagues do not always live to speak out further. Father Alfred Joseph Kunz was a Catholic priest who was found with his throat slit in his Roman Catholic Church in Dane, Wisconsin, after launching an investigation into satanic pedophilia and child abuse within the clergy. A close friend of Malachi Martin, Father Kunz felt his life was in danger in the weeks before his murder, and he was right. Kunz's friend, Abbot Ryan St. Anne Scott felt Kunz's murder was related to Kunz's investigation of sexual abuse scandals in the diocese, but investigators never arrested anybody for the crime, despite admitting they had a suspect who has been kept under constant surveillance since Father Kunz's murder. Judy note: Sunday 21st of June was summer solstice and a major satanic holiday where children were tortured and sacrificed in the worship of Satan. Please be aware of any satanic activities around you and report such to local authorities. Since Satanists were known to infiltrate police and other legal entities, also fill out the ICE form below, detailing your observance, including your report to police and how they handled it. www.ice.gov web link. 6-year-old Jenny Hill was made to view a child sacrifice in Garden Grove, California at noon June 21, 1965. Hear her account. See Exchange and Redemption. The below was a compilation of information received about exchanging, redeeming and written in my opinion only. Official instructions would come out with release of the 800-S and could easily differ. June 9, 2020 email from Frank Templeton of Templeton Collectibles. Zim bones and Zim notes refer to the same thing. Folks are expecting them to be treated like a bond. Reports were that dinar and dong were no longer available to buy until after Monday 6 July when contract rates would no longer be available. 800 notification. Several Tier 1 banks would send out 527,000 plus emails to currency and Zim holders containing a coded 800 number to call for appointments and a secure website to obtain redemption, exchange information. The code was an individualized ID number connected to your social security number for you to take through the redemption process. Take that ID number to your appointment. Do not give out the coded 800 to anyone as it was connected to your social security number and personal banking account and could only be used once for your personal appointment. If you did not receive an email, then you could find the general 800 and the secure website on websites as below. Clicking on that secured website or calling that 800 would give you your personalized coded 800 ID number for the redemption process. They wanted as many Zim holders as possible to redeem their Zim in the first 4 days after the 800 S and email notifications went out. When you called the 800 let them know if you had Zim as it could change where you did your redemption. Any currencies you had would be exchanged at the same time as your Zim bonds.